Hello, millionaires. Welcome to the Millionaire Money Podcast, episode 18. Today, we are going to be continuing our series on the irreplaceable habits of millionaires. We are going to be talking about the habit of focus, the one thing that can help you to finally see results. Stay tuned. All right, everybody. So, like I said last episode, for the next 8 episodes, we are actually going to be having a series. And just for those of you guys who may be joining us for the first time in this episode, this series is essentially what I noticed. So, for those of you who know some of my journey, you know that I didn't start off a millionaire. It wasn't handed to me. It wasn't a gift. It wasn't a fluke. Myself and my family actually started homeless, without food, like just in the worst place ever. God just so happened to have it that we got connected to this person and that person, and our circle started to change. And I remember there was a season where I was exposed to people who were multi-millionaires, who were doing extremely well. And it was in that season that I started to notice that the way that they talked about and thought about money was so dramatically different from the way that I thought about and talked about money. And it was also in that season that this series that we're going to be going over really just, it didn't happen to me like a series. It wasn't like I was sitting in the room going, ooh, here's a really good series on the irreplaceable habits of millionaires. No, I was in the room, and just because of the way that my brain works, I'm noticing differences. I'm noticing differences in results financially. And I just started to pick things up like, okay, this is different. That's different. This is something I need to start doing more of. And so over the years, I think it was 3 years later, my goal initially was to be a millionaire in a year. Like, I was so fed up with struggle. This was the month where we couldn't pay our rent. And I literally texted my friends, my family members, and I was like, guys, I'm going to be a millionaire in a year. Forget about this financial struggle business. It didn't happen in a year. It took us 3 years, but once we hit that millionaire place status, we started multiplying and multiplying. And so we've been really blessed. But what I decided to do was to really distill for you guys 8 specific habits. And, some of you guys already watched episode 1 and are already like, oh my gosh, Toyin, this is exactly what I need to hear about. Episode 1, I talked about bounce back ability. And some of you guys are already requesting, like, please do more. So I don't know, maybe we will, maybe we won't, but I know for sure these are the top 8 things that I notice that is different between the people who have $1 million, $100 million, multiple hundreds of millions of dollars, and the people who just don't. And so today, what I wanted to do is I'm going to talk about the second irreplaceable habits of millionaires, which is the habit of focus. I'm going to put myself on blast with this one, because this one hit me hard when I was learning and when I was just starting to grow. So why are we talking about the habit of focus? First of all, because this one habit is what will save you energy in your journey to your first or $100 million. This one habit will literally amplify your level of productivity and your ability to actually see things happen. The truth is, y'all, we have a limited amount of time on this planet. And you guys hear me say this all the time, but time is more valuable than money. And it's interesting because I watch a lot of people where they are so particular about their money, and it's like every single cent, and they're looking at it and they're tracking it, and they're like, I can't put my money here, or I will put my money there. They're so focused on their money and they pay no attention to their time. And what they don't understand is you can grow money, you can multiply money, you can lose money, you can make it back, but you can never regain time. And focus is one of the things that, if y'all know me, I am super like, high achiever, let's go, let's get it, let's do something. I love and value my time, and focus is the one habit that has really helped me, and I've noticed has helped a lot of other people to create success in a shorter amount of time, as well as doing it without having to sacrifice all these other areas of your life. Now, here's the other thing I want to say as we dive into this topic is every single person, all of you who are listening to me right now, you have a calling on your life. Right? Like there's work for you to do on this planet. There's something that is in your hand for you to create. And if you don't learn how to focus, if you don't learn this habit, y'all, you very likely won't be able to, not even very likely. Look, you people see me. I'm trying to be very nice. I'm trying to be very cuddly. But I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to be honest out of love and cuddly too. Don't worry, I'll be kind and honest. Kindness is honesty. Please be honest with me. If you don't learn how to focus, you cannot hit your maximum potential. It's impossible. You won't be able. Nobody has ever multiplied money by accident. Some people have, some people win the lottery. Some people, it's a windfall. But if you want to look at something that is consistent, something that you can redo, something you can recreate, something you can have without crossing your fingers and your toes and your tongue and praying that, one day it will be my turn for the lightning to strike and for the money in my account to just multiply like that, then this is a habit that you need to not just know on a theoretical level and an intellectual level. This is a habit that has to be through and through inside of you, in your brain, in your heart, in your muscles, in your actions, in your decisions. The habit of focus will make or break you. I don't know if y'all remember when we were children, we used to do this experiment where you could have a magnifying glass and you put it over paper in the sunlight and you'd be able to start a fire with that magnifying glass. That is the power of focus. There's so many examples I could use to give, but the reason, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, you go out in the sun, you have a piece of paper, and if you have children, you can do this with your children. It's really fun. You get a magnifying glass and you just have the magnifying glass over the paper over a period of time. It's usually a short period of time. It's like a minute or so. And you can actually start a fire. Be very careful with that, right? But you can start a fire. The only reason that stuff works is because you are concentrating the heat and the energy of the sun in one specific area. A lot of people want the fire, but they have the magnifying glass in their hand and they're moving it all over the place. Oh, let me try it over here. Oh, no, I don't like that part. Okay, well, it didn't start yet. Let me move it over here. And we're always moving and changing and starting something new. Oh my gosh, guys, I see this online as well. So many business owners that are forever having new offer, new thing, shiny object. Hey, I'm starting something new. Am I saying it's bad to start something new? No. Many people who come to work with us, they do start something new sometimes because what they were doing wasn't working or whatever it is. But my point is, if you're always starting from scratch, you are going to eventually get burned out. And you're not going to be able to do anything that you're trying to get done. Because if you're always starting from scratch, you're going to be expending a lot of energy unnecessarily. And you only have a limited amount of energy in your physical body, y'all. There's like you can build and you can turn, but if you're always turning around in circles, well, it's a new year, it's a brand new season. This is the decision that I made. Never mind. This is the decision that I made. It's a new, and it's just, you're always jumping. If you're an entrepreneur, you're even more at risk, okay? Because I call it the shiny squirrel or shiny object syndrome. Not just me, a lot of people call it that. But the shiny object syndrome, you're on Facebook and you see one type of funnel and you're like, oh my God, this is a great funnel for getting new clients. And then you see another one, you're like, ooh, maybe that one's going to work even better than the one that I'm doing. And then you see another one, you're like, oh, well, maybe that one will do it. And we're always looking for this shortcut, this new, shiny, wonderful way that's going to get it done faster. And what it takes away from you is the power of focus. And many people will tell you that if you're at least just busy, then it's a good thing. At least you're busy. You're doing things. You're taking action. Go ahead, grind, take action. But you don't even know whether you're busy or you're productive. So time is going by and you're using time. You're not sitting down eating bonbons like I talked about in the last episode. You're not sitting on your couch watching TV, sitting with Netflix and eating bonbons. But you're also not creating anything. And even the things that you have started to create, you keep uprooting it. And you imagine it's like someone who's trying to grow a tree and they put it in the garden and they plant it. And then they're like, ooh, the soil looks juicier over there. I'm going to uproot the tree and put it over here in this soil. Ooh, actually, I just noticed that part over there actually gets a little bit more sunlight. 3 weeks later, they come, they take up the tree, they put it in the other spot. And it's like you will never have a tree when you keep uprooting what you have in your hand. Some of you, what this looks like when you don't learn this habit of focus is you always say yes. Yes, 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 yes. And you are the one that is doing everything for everybody. And because you're the one that does everything for everybody, guess who they all go to for something? You. And when you end up living a lifestyle where you're doing everything for everyone, you will end up burning the candle from both ends and being effective for no one, including yourself and your family. So this is like mission critical. I can't tell y'all how many people we have worked with where we have seen them just doing so much and getting nowhere. And they come and they're like, Toyin, I feel like I'm a hamster on a hamster wheel. I'm running and I'm running and I expend energy and I'm going out and I'm doing everything with all of my heart, with all of my energy, with all of my focus, but nothing is happening. I don't see results. I'm not seeing the inflow of money in our conversation. In this context, we're talking about money in your bank, multiplying. I am not seeing the inflow of money in my business or in my career to measure it to the amount of effort that I'm putting in. And then here's why it's even worse, is because it actually creates this place where you're expending the limited energy you have. So all of us, the front of your brain is the prefrontal cortex. It's kind of the decision-making area of your brain. And you have a limited amount of willpower in a 24-hour span in the day. And every day, you're doing so much for so many people that by the end of the day, you're making bad decisions at night. You leave yourself for last. You're now overeating. You're not getting sleep. You're doing this. And you're looking at your life going, my life doesn't reflect what it's supposed to reflect. And this happens whether you have money or you don't have money, y'all. I see people, you may have real money-making ideas, amazing ideas. But if you don't know how to focus, the idea is not going to benefit you at all. It's not everything you're doing that's actually producing for your bank account. I remember, I think this was maybe 2.5 years ago, we had a client come to work with us. And when she came in, she's just one of those people that is just like on fire. You know what I'm saying? Like anything she does it with her whole heart. She is super energetic. She's super outgoing. And so there's just like people would just be attracted to kind of that fire that she has. And so she would always get all these opportunities. And I remember when she first came to us, there were so many pots in the fire because for her, an opportunity was a good thing, especially because, none of them were really making money. So she was like, okay, I'm just doing all of it and I'm gonna and then, try to make a little bit out of everything. So that's the kind of the strategy that she had, was as many opportunities as come, I'm gonna jump on it, and whatever little bit of money comes in from that, then we'll use it and leverage it to pay the bills and all of that. And of course, it wasn't working. Okay, so she's stuck financially, and that's why she came to us. She was like, I need to change something. Something ain't working, because I am doing so much for so many and I am not seeing the payoff at all. So we work with her. We help her eliminate a lot of the fluff. We helped her to determine, okay, this is the exact business already in your hand, because she had a bunch of different businesses. This is the business in your hand that would bring in the most money in the fastest amount of time. And so once she got that clarity and focused, she went from literally, I remember when she decided she was going to work with us, like things were so tight financially that she was counting, like, this is how much gas money I'm going to use. So then if this is the gas money I project to use next month, then we can take this amount of money. Like, we were literally counting down to the dollar for her to be able to get in our room. And 2 years later, she had, I think it was her first 200K sales month for her team, not counting her actual annual team sales volume, not counting her revenue. And then here's the other piece of it, was in 2 years, she was able to pay off $200,000 worth of debt instead of the 30 years that it was projecting it was going to take her. And so in the place of learning to focus, and just to say, having the $200,000 sales month didn't just come magically. It built. So she was first she had this sales month. She's like, oh my gosh, it's growing. And then all of a sudden she hits this milestone and she's just like, oh my gosh, is this my life? Yeah, this is my life. Debt free. So what am I saying, y'all? I am saying that focus is what will make the difference in scaling to $1 million or $100 million. I just told you about a client of mine. Let me put my own self on the chopping block. I remember when I was starting this journey, I had a mentor who was meeting with me periodically. I forget how many months, but it would be like a few months, and then we'd have a meeting. She was just this amazing mentor. She has accomplished so much. She was like a whole other level. I really just admired and looked up to what she had created, especially in the place that she was volunteering to do that for me through a program that I did invest to be in, but she didn't have to do it. I remember back then I had been reaching out to so many different people just to see, hey, can we have coffee? Can we have coffee? Because I really wanted to learn. And most people were just like straight up just ignored me. I didn't even get a conversation, much less coffee. And this woman would meet with me consistently. And it really, really helped me. And I remember one of the things that she would do is every time we would meet, she'd be like, so what are you up to? And I would tell her, the different things that were on my plate. I'm running this business. Back then, I think I was running about 4 or 5 businesses as well. So I was like, my decluttering business is doing this. My debt freedom coaching business is doing this, which was very different from what I'm doing even now. Decluttering, debt freedom. I have this many speaking engagements. And then I had, I think it was like, what was the 4th one? I can't remember anymore. But I had these 4 things. And I remember she would have the whole conversation and kind of highlight different things. But one thing she would always say to me is, Toyin, you need to focus. And when I first started meeting with her, I took her to heart. I'm like coachable to a T, especially when I can see your results are different from mine. I'm listening. So I was like, okay, cool. First meeting, she goes, okay, I hear that. This is good. You could do this. You could do that. But you know what? Overall, I would say you need to focus is what she said. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I go back and I'm like, okay, I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to stop this volunteering over here. Because it was like, I wasn't just running the businesses. I was volunteering. I'm doing all these things. So I cut. And I would meet with her again months later. And she's like, how you doing? What's on your plate? What's going on? And we talk and all of that. And then I would make this list and she'd be like, some way, somehow, she would say, But I think the top thing, Toyin, for you would be just you really need to focus. And I'm like, okay, no problem. Coachable, right? All right. So I'm gonna cut this and I cut this and I cut this, but I still had the 4 businesses and I come back to her again. And it was like the same message over and over and over again. And it probably took me, I think, 8 months, maybe 7 to 8 months. And our sessions had stopped because the program I was in was over, for the penny to finally drop. And I was like, I need to focus. I need to learn how to focus. I didn't even know how to focus. That's why she was saying it. I was hearing it. I was wanting it. I was wanting to do it, but I didn't know how to change the habits. The habits of jumping and doing and all of that. Like when I talk to you guys about the shiny squirrel syndrome, all of those pieces, that was me times 1,000. Okay. I was always looking for the other thing that's going to make the difference, especially because I was struggling financially. So I was always like, oh my gosh, what if I tried that? Maybe that will get us out faster. All of that. Fast forward the story. We're not meeting that much anymore, but I created Money Mindset Shift. It shifted my mindset dramatically. I finally was in this place of peace and clarity to be able to think. You can't focus if you don't know how to think. And I'm serious. You can't focus practically if your brain isn't able to be focused because you are so overwhelmed by all the things around you. And mind you guys, money didn't come in before I started to learn this lesson. I learned to focus and then money followed it. So I do this process for my brain that I never thought I would teach, but now this is what I do all the time, is teach this process to other people. I do this process for my brain and I learn how to focus. And I'm focused. And all of a sudden, it wasn't all of a sudden, because my clients always say, they always come in our program, they do the process and they're like, oh my gosh, and then all of a sudden. And I'm like, I know that it happened in a faster amount of time than you thought, but it wasn't out of nowhere. It's because you did something to clear up the path. And so I did that and it started to work. What I decided to focus on started to produce. I started to be able to think about what to do next. Some of you guys in a day, you're trying to run your business, you're trying to work your job, you're trying to do something to scale your finances. And even when you sit down to think about it, you don't even know where to start. That is a lack of focus. So what do? You learn how to multiply your time by cutting out distractions. You learn how to identify what is an opportunity and what is a distraction. Everybody has 24 hours in a day, y'all. Everybody has 24 hours, from someone who's living on the streets to someone who is in a mansion. And the people who are able to have and create a level of success that most people don't achieve are the people who learn how to build the muscle of saying no, of drawing the line, of being able to focus, of asking those questions about how do I know which one is a distraction, which one is an opportunity. And now one thing I want to say to y'all is this: focus is both a choice and a skill. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Focus, the ability to focus at the level that I'm talking about. I'm not talking about focusing so you can finish a text message, but focusing long enough, well enough to create something is both a choice and a skill. You have to learn how to disseminate exactly what your life, your business, your career needs right now, your money needs right now to create the outcome that you are fighting for. And what it will need is going to be different for every single person on the planet. One, because your goals are different from my goals. Two, because your experiences are different from my experiences. Your limitations, your challenges are different from my limitations and my challenges. The dynamic of our lives are different. And if you don't have the skill to be able to disseminate, like based on my environment, my resource, what I have access to, my goal, what I'm trying to get at, this is what exactly I need to be doing right now, then you're not going to be able to focus. It's not just automatic. This skill is an actual skill, and you have to build that muscle. That's why I could hear somebody telling me, Toyin, you got to focus, you over and over and over again. And until my brain shifted, I didn't actually know what to do with what she was telling me. And so here's what I want y'all to do. If you are listening to this, if you haven't already, grab your pen and paper. I don't know why you'll be listening to it. Well, some of y'all are driving. If you're driving, it's all good, but grab a pen and paper and write this down. First, you need to make a decision to live a life of focus. You need to decide, I am no longer going to be on autopilot. I am no longer going to just be pulled by all the what do they call it? The tyranny of the urgent. Oh, this is urgent. This is urgent. Oh, now this is urgent. Everything is always a fire you're putting out, and you're not stepping back to say, am I going anywhere? So you need to make the decision that I am not going to live a life that is just busy. I am going to be a productive person. I'm going to live a life that is productive and that bears fruit. The second thing is I want to learn, and I'm deciding, or you are deciding for yourself to learn the skill of focus. So you need to actually study and train your brain to be able to be focused when you are tempted to jump from one thing to another. This is something you have to learn. Even till today, this is one of the areas of my brain where I know if I'm going to sabotage myself, it's usually out of just shiny object syndrome. So what have I done? Not only have I helped to change my brain so that it's not so susceptible to shiny objects, but also I have set up through the same processes we show our clients. I have set up systems in my life to keep myself from the shiny object syndrome so that I don't sabotage what I have in my hand. You have to learn this stuff. So if you know that you're that person that you always tell yourself, this is the year where I will say no. Like I remember talking to someone and this was last year, I think. And she was saying to me, Toyin, every single time my family calls me for money, I always give them money. And I'm in debt. I go into debt to give to them. She's like, and so I'm talking to her and she's like, over and over, I commit, I'm no longer going to do it anymore. I'm no longer going to do it anymore. So I asked her, over the course of our conversation, do you want us to help you change your brain so that you can stop just automatically giving them the money? And she's like, well, Toyin, I don't think I need, oh gosh. She said, I don't think I need that your help because I've made a decision. I'm just going to say no from now on. And I looked at her. And she looked at me and I said, how many times have you made a decision that you're just going to say no from now on, and they call you and you send the money immediately? And she laughed. I laughed. She's like, every time. And it was just like, yeah, if you want to fix something, you don't just keep trying to change it the way you've always trying to change it. You're not just going to muscle through a habit that's working in your subconscious. Okay? And so that's the first thing is if you want to know how to begin to say no, to begin to focus, to begin to make decisions that are actually going to move you forward and get you out of that sabotage cycle. If you want someone to show you how to be able to finish what you start, instead of constantly going into the weeds, micromanaging, diluting your efforts everywhere, or if you know yourself and you're like, Toyin, when you talk about that shiny object syndrome, that squirrel brain thing, I'm constantly distracted. And you know that it is slowing down your acceleration. It is slowing down your millionaire journey. It is slowing down your career, your business, your investments, your ability to scale. Then you need to book a call with our team. And y'all already know where to do that. It is moneymindset.shift moneymindsetshift.ca/call. Once again, it's moneymindsetShift.ca/call. Y'all, if you cannot learn to be focused, you can't create. You can't create. Maybe you could get away and create maybe $1 million, but you're not going to multiply that money without being able to learn this skill. And for some of you, you can't even get to that first million until this is something that you finally conquer, like I had to conquer as well. So it's moneymindsetShift.ca/call, and myself or a member of my team is going to be absolutely excited and thrilled to walk you through that free process. A free call. It's a free process where we walk you through exactly what are the sabotage areas that are triggering your distraction, your inability to focus, your inability to build in these ways, and what are the exact steps that you need to take in order to change that. I love you guys. This series is fire. If you are listening to this series and you have not shared it with your friends, with your family, with your parents, your sisters, your cousins, their mom, come on, people, don't keep information like this to yourself. Don't keep breakthrough like this to yourself. Take this information, take this episode, share it, like it. I heard Spotify recently got a rating system. 5-star the podcast, 5-star the Apple one, wherever you find it, 5-star it. Comment, ask questions. I love to engage with you guys. So definitely let me know, what are your thoughts? What did you notice when you were answering the questions I talked about on this episode? Let's have a conversation. Love you guys. Peace. Hey millionaires, thanks for tuning in to today's show. If you want to subscribe, there's a little picture of me right here. Click on that. And if you want to have a free financial breakthrough session with my team, then you can go on ahead and click on the button right here or visit moneymindsetShift.ca/call. I'll see you guys on the next show. Bye-bye.